This is our Godly Place story for the third Sunday in the season of Easter. We roll out our white underlay because white, bright white, is the color of Easter. On the first Sunday in Easter, we remember how the women went to the tomb and they found it empty. Today we remember how on the afternoon of the very first Easter, two of Jesus' followers made their way slowly toward Emmaus, some 7 miles from Jerusalem. They must have been shaking their heads in wonder as they walked and talked of what had happened. The cross, the empty tomb, what did it mean? A stranger joined them. They didn't really pay much attention until he asked, "What are you talking about? Are you the only one in Jerusalem who has not heard what has taken place these last 3 days? What happened? The cross, the empty tomb, there's been so much. You are foolish and slow of heart. Listen." He opened the scriptures to them. Do you remember how we were trapped in Egypt and Moses led us out through the water into freedom? Do you remember how we were trapped in our freedom in the desert and God gave Moses the 10 Commandments to guide us? Do you remember how we were trapped in exile and the prophet said a child would lead us and that someone would come to suffer and die so we might really be alive? By the time they were in the village of Emmaus, by this time they were in the village of Emmaus. The miles had passed quickly as the stranger talked. He was about to go on when the two asked him to stay, and he did. When they sat at supper in the inn, the stranger took a piece of bread. He gave thanks to God for it and broke it. Then he shared it with the two. That was when they knew who he was. But in that same moment, he was gone. Now they knew why their hearts had burned within them as they walked with him on that road. They got up slowly and hurried back to Jerusalem to tell the rest that he had been made known to them in the breaking of the bread. Today we also remember how one night it was dark in Jerusalem when the disciples gathered in the room with the doors shut. They were afraid that the soldiers would come in and take them like they had taken Jesus. Someone said, "Peace be with you." They looked and it was he. At first they thought it was a ghost, but then he talked with them. They saw his wounds. He ate a piece of fish and opened the scriptures as he had on the road to Emmaus. Finally he said again, "Peace be with you," and was gone. Thomas had been away that night. When they told him the next day what had happened, he did not believe them. He had doubt in his bones. "I won't believe until I can touch his wounds." And why wouldn't he have some doubt? Their minds were stretching to be big enough to know Jesus in this new way. 8 days passed. The disciples again gathered in the room with the doors shut. This time, Thomas was there. A voice said, "Peace be with you." It was he. And this time he went straight up to Thomas and held out his hand. "Touch me." All Thomas could do was fall on his knees. "My Lord and my God." Jesus looked at him a long time. "Do you believe me because you have seen?" He then slowly looked around the whole circle and said, "Blessed are those who have not seen and yet believe." Now, I wonder what part of these stories you like the best. I wonder what part you think is the most important. I I wonder where you are in this story, or what part of this story could be about you.